Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to install the 10 mode rapid fire kit from Wordene mods. If you guys want to purchase this mod, there'll be some links down in the description. Alright, so I'm just going to check what's inside the bag here. Alright, you guys can see the mod chip itself. And then there'll be a couple resistors, a total of 3 220 ohm resistors and 1 diode. You won't be needing the diode for this install, but I'm going to be using it anyway. Alright, there's going to be some 30 gauge kind of wire, some solder, and some LEDs. Alright, so you're going to need a soldering iron. I would recommend a 30 watt. Anything above that, if you don't know how to use it, you're going to burn your motherboard. You're going to need a torque save security bit screwdriver. Make sure it's a security bit. Some scissors. I'm just going to use scissors to cut the wire as it's fairly thin. I'm going to be using some tweezers. And my brass coil tip cleaner for my soldering iron. Very helpful. Alright, that's about it. You guys can also use a clip to hold your wire in place while you're soldering to it. So if your controller is new or you've never been opened before, there should be a barcode sticker and there should be a screw right in the center of it, behind it. You want to punch through that, or you could just remove the sticker. I decided to just punch the screwdriver through it, and the other screwdriver holes there are visible. Alright, so if you guys can see there's pin number 1 indicated by that indent on the chip. That's gonna need to be faced on the bottom left corner. So pin number 1 should be on the bottom left corner. Alright, so here I'm just gonna apply some flux to the pins of the chip itself. That helps remove oxidation, which may cause solder and wire not to stick, which can be pretty aggravating. Alright, so I'm just gonna apply some solder here. Alright, I do really recommend flux, guys. Alright, here you go. See, you see there, I took off my, oh, there you go again, I took off my soldering iron too early. Alright, so for pin number 1, you're just gonna wanna solder a wire about, what I like to do is wanna solder first. I like to solder the whole wire roll and then just measure out first how much you're gonna need and then cut it. And here's gonna be right underneath the left joystick there. You guys can see that pin I want to solder to. It's gonna be the middle one. There you go. Really easy to get to. May be tricky at first, but if you know how to solder it, should be fairly easy. Alright, so you're gonna want to solder wire to the second pin here, and that other end of the wire is gonna go on the top of those three, on the bottom of those 3 pins. The way I'm facing it is gonna be on top because I have the controller upside down. Makes it much easier to get to the contact I want to solder to. So now you want to grab your 220 ohm resistor, bend an L shape to it, and cut it off about half a centimeter, and you're gonna want to solder it to the middle of those 3 pins right there. You want to cut the other end off, solder a wire to it. What I like to do is obviously measure out the wire first, so I know how much I'm gonna need instead of having excess or too little wire. Alright, so you're gonna want to solder to that end to the 3rd pin. Should be really easy to get to. Alright, so now that we're done with that, you're gonna want to solder a wire to the 4th pin here. Alright, you ran my wires through the back here. You want to solder to the same point you soldered the first time there. Same point, and that's it. Really easy. I would suggest you run your wires through the back, so that way you don't have all this excess wire all over the place. Now you want to solder wire to the 5th pin of the chip. You want to solder that right next to the sync button. Is going to be, it's pretty much the same as the other one, but you want to solder to the top of those two on the right of the chip, and that's really easy to get to. Alright, so you want to do the same as you did to the other side. Cut an L shape about 1/2 centimeter and solder it to the middle pin of those three. Alright, solder it to the middle one, and that's it. And cut the other end off. Solder wire to the 6th pin. Should be only about an inch and a half, and solder the other end to the other end of the resistor here. Should be fairly easy to do, not hard at all. Alright. Alright, I'm just gonna grab my tweezers. Alright, so I'm just gonna solder that real easy, guys. Make sure you guys make some good contact, that way if you accidentally drop the remote, any wires won't come loose. Alright, so you want to cut the end off there of the other 220 ohm resistor. You want to place that directly on the 7th pin. You want to cut the other end off there. Just want to cut the end of the resistor here. Alright, once you've cut that off, you're gonna want to grab your, actually you don't need to do this step. I'm just gonna do this just because it's included in the kit, but you don't need to do this step. And if you decide to do it, make sure that the black ring around it's facing towards the chip or towards the resistor if you're soldering it like I did. Alright, so you don't have to do this step, guys, but if you decide to do it, make sure you do it how I do it. Alright, so you just want to make sure you don't interfere with any holes or anything like that. That way when you go to close your controller, you won't pinch any of the wires. Alright, so you want to solder a wire to the end of that diode there. Alright, real easy. Alright, you're going to want to solder the other end of that wire to the bottom side of the 4th player LED. Make sure it's the bottom. That's real easy to do. Just have a little bubble of solder, and that should stick right on. Alright, now for the last pin, you're going to want to solder a wire to the 8th pin there, and then you're going to want to solder to the point right above the mic where you would plug in your wired microphone, right next to the bottom of contact point of the D-pad. That's where you would solder it to. If you guys can see there, you guys can see where I'm soldering to. And let's get to how to turn on the mod. Alright, so once you put it back together, all you have to do is tap the sync button to turn it on and off. And if you would like to scroll through the modes, just hold the right trigger and tap the sync button the number of times that equals the mode that you want to get to. Alright, so I'm just going to show you guys here. So that's mode 3. Alright. And if the mode is adjustable, just hold on the left trigger and tap the sync button. It should put you in programming mode, and you can increase or decrease the shots per second by pressing the right trigger or left trigger. Right trigger to increase and left trigger to decrease, and just tap the sync button. It should put you back in rapid fire mode. Alright, so if you want to just factory reset your mod, all you have to do is hold down both triggers and turn it on. The 4th player LED should start blinking pretty fast. So here I'm going to show you guys how to calibrate the mod. All you have to do is hold on the sync button and turn on the remote. It may take a couple of tries, but the 4th player LED should start blinking. And all you have to do is hold on the left trigger, release it, hold on the right trigger and release it. And you just simply just keep tapping the sync button until the LED goes solid. And there you go, your mod is now calibrated. And thank you guys for watching. Rate, comment, and subscribe.